Hello friends, Tommy with Studio Sense here, and true to my word, today we're talking about apple blended fragrances. Yesterday's video was about fragrances that featured the note of apple. In other words, that was the primary note that you smelled. Now in this case, the 10 zesty, awesome, cheapy gems that we're going to be talking about today are appleicious in terms of they're blended. The blend is just creating this better aroma because it has a very fruity apple note in it as a part of it. These are 10 examples of some great summer cheapies. So we've got those as part of our discussion, plus a lot more right after this. Welcome back, fragrance fans. Today I'm happy to be talking about apple fragrances yet again, except in this case, as I mentioned earlier, these are apple blended fragrances and very affordable. Now, what is an apple blended fragrance? Basically, the smell of apple has been described as sweet, mellow, tart, fresh, crispy, sometimes lightly floral. Sometimes people talk about apple note in terms of a fantasy note, and they say in that way it's kind of a woody, fruity, kind of mellow quality to apple. That's a lot of descriptors, and that's exactly what these fragrances are, and then some, because of the use of apple in a blended framework. The first apple blended fragrance I want to talk about is a very popular cheapie that if you don't know about by now, you should. It is by Nautica, and it is the ever popular Nautica Voyage. Now, this is a very lightly iconic fragrance by now, simply because it's been around for so long and it's still available. And it's one of those wonderful floral apple blended fragrances, meaning it contains the note of apple in the open along with notes like lotus, mimosa. It's also got a marine aquatic vibe going on with it that makes it a great freshie for very little money. It's been gifted in my family for a very long time to fathers-in-law, multiple fathers-in-law. Gifted and regifted. It's a great overall long-lasting fragrance that everybody enjoys for summer, and that is why it's a great apple blended fragrance, Nautica Voyage. The next apple blended fragrance, meaning this one has apple, ginger, lemon, and grapefruit straight out the gate in the open, and then it's got a bit of oomph in the form of aroma chemical called Ambre Extreme in the base that adds warmth to it, and that is Halloween Man Hero. Not only a cool looking presentation, it's just a overall great cheapie for summertime wear. Now this one, you may not be able to pick out the apple note in it because it's not necessarily lost in the cacophony of citrus fruits, but it bears that same overall citrus aroma in the open of the fragrance. It adds to that. In other words, it's another voice to that great chorus of notes in the open of Halloween Man Hero. A great long-lasting summertime cheapie, made even better by it being an apple blended fragrance. Another great apple blended fragrance that as a result is very popular and a great cheapie by Calvin Klein is Eternity, the Eau de Parfum. The Eau de Parfum gives kind of a nod towards what's in it in terms of the overall aroma with its really beautiful green presentation. This is an interesting duo of sage and apple, along with some other spicy notes like nutmeg, something called pample zest, which sounds like a condition you need to be treated for, but it's an aroma chemical that just adds a kind of a woody fruitiness, similar to that fantasy note of apple that we talked about. You can kind of sort of tell there's apple in this, but it's blended so smoothly with that Eternity DNA that it's just a fresh overall everyday wear, but perfect for summer. And again, very inexpensive because it's Calvin Klein, Eternity EDP. I'd like to talk for a moment about a really unique apple blended fragrance by Montblanc. It's kind of one of those hidden gems talked about in the past as being, wow, this is really good, but I think people have forgotten about it and it's worth taking a second look at. That is Montblanc Presence. Kind of a half moon shaped bottle. There's Presence, Cool. By and large, the best of the two is going to be Presence. What an extremely well blended, well crafted fragrance by this Italian house. And guys, let me just tell you, if you're looking for something that has just a bit of a retro appeal in terms of masculine barbershop, there in the DNA, you can pick up on it. This one uses a little bit of a floral, spicy combination. There's heliotrope, there's sage, there's sandalwood, there's cinnamon, ginger, tonka, musk, and teak wood is the wood in the base. Blends extremely well with apple, citrus fruits like apple. That's what makes Presence such a unique apple blended fragrance? And I like that name, Presence, because there is a presence about Montblanc Presence that is very definitive and unique. And if you want something unique that you can wear to the office, you might be interested in checking this one out. And it's very inexpensive. The last I checked, it was still available, and there will be links below that will help you check it out as well. Another extremely pleasant summer cheapie that is an apple blended fragrance that has that wonderful apple fruity vibe in the direction of a blue fragrance is one by Diesel, and it's Only the Brave Extreme. Yes, it's kind of a unique or funky looking bottle. Some people love them, some people don't like them. I don't want to use the word hate because it's not that bad. Fist bump. This is one of those a little bit better crafted of the Diesel line. Quite a few fragrances in Only the Brave, Spirit of the Brave lines is one of the better apple blended fragrances in the line. Although you can smell apple right away, it's coming from the heart of the fragrance. And it's a trio of apple, rose, and violet. So you get this kind of fresh, fruity, crisp apple note blended with the violet and the rose together. Who knew an apple note, which isn't one of those bright register citrus notes that are typically used in opens, could work so well with floral notes. And it does extremely well in Only the Brave Extreme. It's an awesome summer cheapie. One apple blended fragrance that a lot of people enjoy, but they don't necessarily like as much as the original, is one by Ralph Lauren, and it's Ralph's Club. This opens with a fruity combo of grapefruit, apple, and mandarin together. This trio works so well in this fragrance, but what prevents it from being just an apple cologne or an apple fragrance is a very elegant use of floral, spicy, but primarily focused on vetiver, patchouli, and cashmere. But I honestly don't think it would smell as good as it does without that apple blend in it, and that's why I can highly recommend Ralph's Club, the original, as a great summer cheapie. Salvatore Ferragamo produces a lot of very good inexpensive fragrances. One that many people have come to enjoy that is an apple blended summer fragrance is F Black. A lot of people choose to use Free Time, which is the citrus version of this, without realizing this is a great apple blended fragrance. This is a great duo of lavender and apple, but this is where lavender overpowers the apple. There's lavender and apple in the open, then you've got lavender absolute. Then it becomes very peppery and a bit dark and resinous with some coriander. I think there's pepper and labdanum in the base. But again, that apple blend is what causes F Black to smell so good and be such a great summertime cheapie. Another great apple blended summer cheapie that I really enjoy personally, but I can definitely understand why some people may not like it, it's a very unique fragrance. It's Kenzo Aqua Pour Homme. Aqua Pour Homme is at its base, at its heart, an aquatic fragrance, but it has kind of this sharp take on a spicy, unique kind of aquatic fragrance. There's like apple, cedar, hazelnut, pink pepper. Yeah, hazelnut. There's a good bit of pink pepper. There's a little sharp kind of sesame in here as well. There's other like sandalwood and tonka. But the unique citrusy, aquatic, sharp nature of the fragrance is what I actually like about it and what makes it, for me, again, last so long and be a great summer cheapie. Not always easy to find, not always cheap, but I got it relatively inexpensive. If I can find it for inexpensive, of course I'll list it below, but you should check out Kenzo Aqua Pour Homme as a great apple blended summer cheapie. Another fragrance that features the note of apple and watermelon together, which gives it this kind of nice citrusy, tart, fresh melon, buoyant. The buoyancy comes from the melon note in the fragrance, is by Baldessarini, and it's Ambre Eau Fraiche. As you can see by the color of the juice, you're getting a freshie in the form of an apple blended fragrance, apple and watermelon. Similar to L1212 Noir and then Kenneth Cole Reaction is a great watermelon blended fragrance. This also has apple and watermelon together like Reaction, but a bit sharper and more long lasting in the way that it uses the spices. I really like Ambre Eau Fraiche, and I think you will too, as a great apple blended summertime cheapie. Speaking of Lacoste and L1212 in particular, there are a lot in that line that are fantastic fresh fragrances, none more so because of its use of apple in its blend than Blanc Eau Fraiche. I've talked about this one before, and guys, super minty fresh, but the crispness coming from that tart apple note is what makes this so viable as an apple blended fragrance. In this case, apples in the heart. First you get grapefruit, ginger, lemon trio in the open, then you've got juniper and apple working together in the heart of this, giving it kind of a minty freshness, as well as vetiver, cedarwood, and the ambery ambro fix. And I realized just now that I'm holding this backwards. Pretend that you saw the front of it the entire time that I was talking. That's sometimes why I don't like holding up fragrances fragrances, but I know some of you guys prefer me to. You notice I didn't hold the first few fragrances up that I was talking about. I kind of eased into that. But at any rate, guys, you will truly enjoy the fresh blend, the apple juniper combo in this. I think that's what makes it so great. So if you haven't tried out, oh man, it's so good. So if you haven't tried out L1212 Blanc Eau Fraiche, you definitely need to grab it up right away. And again, as I often say, I leave links down below, as many as I possibly can find, deals for you guys, so that you can just click and check them out for yourself. But if you have already checked these out, please let everyone know what your favorites are. Or if you have a list of your favorite apple blended fragrances, let everyone know what those are as well. Always appreciate you guys sharing your favorite cheapies for summer. Well, that's gonna be a wrap on today's video. Thanks for stopping by and checking it out. As always, thank you so much for your continued support on my channel. Hope you and your family and friends have a great day. Stay safe out there. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you tomorrow with another video review.